D-Mark got that heat.
Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is video number 2, how to do a high ball taper. My boy in the background flexing on us real quick. Let's get right into it. Alright, y'all, so my first step is I'm gonna take the top down with the number 4 guard. I got my wall 1919s and I'm going straight down with the grand. Alright, so we're gonna create the first guideline, and it's gonna be from the top of his ear to the edge of his post. And I'm using the wireless T outliners to create this guideline. I'm gonna bald it out, take everything off real clean.
D-Mark got that heat.
Now I'm using my Babyliss shavers to take down the sides to the skin. Alright, so with my wall clippers, I got the lever open and I'm gonna go about half an inch up. Don't create a crazy hard line. Alright, now I'm gonna put my clippers to the closest position to blend out that first guideline we did. And you can see how I'm just flicking out the clipper. I'm not creating another solid line. I'm just trying to blend that first small line out so we could go to the next one. Okay, next step is the number 1 guard with the lever all the way closed and just flick out the hair like ½ inch. Don't go too high.
D-Mark got that heat.
And then I'm gonna put my lever halfway and flick out again. And then after halfway, you put the lever all the way open and just flick it out. Another ½ inch up. Alright, so now I got the 1.5 guard on my walls, and I'm going about ½ an inch again with the lever all the way closed. And then I open it halfway and go up another ½ inch. And then I'm gonna open it all the way up and go another ½ inch. And I'm just flicking out. Make sure you're not creating another crazy line, because then you're gonna have to go over it and over again. And you can start to see how it starts blending out by itself if you're just flicking out. And now I got the number 2 guard on there, and same steps. You're gonna have the lever closed, then halfway open, then all the way open. That's how I start doing my fading techniques. And I'm just going about ½ an inch up again and just flicking. And then the fade starts to come out by itself. If you keep flicking it, it comes out by itself. No need to put a lot of pressure on the clipper. And so now this is the last line I gotta take out. So I pulled out the ones again just to soften up the line a little bit. And then after this, I'm gonna pull the 0 guard out, and that's when that line starts to come out. Now with the 0 guard, I'm gonna put it all the way closed and just start blending that out. And then now you can really start to see how smooth that line's coming out. I'm just flicking out. Again, that's like my biggest thing, is flick out, because a lot of people have a heavy hand and just keep creating line after line. And if you need to, I went back to my clippers with no guard all the way open, and then I'm just kind of looking for those lines. If I need to, just blend them out. And then I'm opening the lever up, closing it, just making sure you don't leave any crazy dark areas, lines, because nobody wants to see a dark line. And now that we're finishing up the side, you can really start to see that blend. I'm just using my T outliners to just touch it up. Alright guys, so now we're going to the neck area to create that taper. And my first step is going to be to create that guideline. I'm using, again, the Andy's wireless outliners. And I'm making it an arch just because that's kind of how I'm doing my tapers. Alright, and now with your shavers, you're just going to take it down to the skin to make it as smooth as possible. Alright, now the first step with the clippers, now I have my lever all the way open, and I'm just going to flick out about ½ an inch up. Alright, so now we're gonna go after that bottom line. We're just gonna blend it out. I got my clippers all the way closed to the closest position. And make sure you don't go past that first line we created. You could tell, like, I'm not gonna go past it. I'm staying under it. And you can start to see it blends out by itself. Alright, so now we got that line out, and then we're gonna pull out the number 1 guard, and again, lever all the way closed, go about 1/2 inch up, and you can just start seeing the technique I use with my wrist. Call it the flick of the wrist. And then make sure you don't ever pass that top guideline you create. Once you create a guideline, then you blend out that bottom part of it, and then you go back to the top. Alright, so now I got the 1.5 guard on there, all the way closed, and just flick that line out as you see, and then it just slowly starts fading by itself. And then once you keep doing enough of it, and you're gonna be more confident on how hard you gotta press down on the clipper or how light, depending on how dark you want an area. But it's really just, you gotta keep doing it every day, because again, it's a skill, and with the skill it takes time and practice, so it's a daily thing that you got to keep doing. And now I got the number 2 guard, again all the way closed, then open, just flick it out to match the side of his hair, and you start to see it just blends out by itself. Alright, so now we're on to that last line that we left. 0 guard on there, all the way closed. Look out for those dark spots that you need to blend out. Make it as smooth as possible. And then again, make sure you're flicking out. And the more you start cutting, you're gonna start seeing different types of textures. You're gonna know how to really go around it, how to blend one style, how to blend another style. It's just all in the practice. The more you do it, the more confident you'll be with it. Like right here, I went back with the number 1 guard, and I'm just blending out dark areas that I needed to get. Now to the part that really brings the whole haircut together. It really starts making everything look sharper. I'm using the Babyliss T outliners, one of my favorite clippers by far. If you haven't yet used them, go out and get you a pair. This is like a must for any barber. It'll make your life so much easier. I'm barely really touching it, and as you can see, it's making it real sharp. Other side, same thing. I always kind of really start at the bottom, and I work my way up towards the top of the ear, creating that smooth arch. Alright y'all, so now we're gonna go for that lineup. It's personally my favorite thing to do in a haircut, because it just really brings the whole haircut together. It's the first thing that people see. And my client here, I've been cutting him for a few years now. He does have a hard lineup, but since I've been cutting him for a few years, and it's just, you learn each time how to make it better and better. And I did use my number 2 guard just to flick that front area out so it could have less density, and it could be easier to line up. And how I do my lineups, I always start on one side, and then I go back to the middle, and then go off to the other side. And I'm always kind of looking in the mirror, and I'm making sure that both sides are symmetrical and not lopsided, because you ain't trying to have your client be walking around out there with a lopsided lineup, because that's your work walking around out there. That's how you advertise. And now I got the blade on my razor blade, and I'm just gonna sharpen it up.
D-Mark got that heat on.
Alright guys, and it's also important, if your client has facial hair, you get rid of it, and you line the parts up that he wants to get lined up. You do a mustache, the chin strap, anything, goatee. Make sure it just goes good with your haircut, because you don't want a good haircut and then the facial hair looking all fuzzy. Alright guys, and now as you're finishing up, take the cape off. Make sure you get all the neck hairs, all that peach fuzz. Clients don't like that. You don't want to see them walking around with the hair, extra long hair on their neck. And yeah, take the shavers, go down to the skin. Alright, now you get your bay rum, drench the neck strip with a bunch of it. Make sure the client notices it. You seen how he was smiling when I was doing it. And yeah, kind of make him feel the burn a little bit. Make sure it's working. If it burns, it's working. So we made it to the end. This is a finished product. I always like to have a mirror just to show the client so he could see it, so he could see the back, the sides, make sure they like it, because that's the most important thing. And yeah, you see how the blend came out. Of course it's gonna come out, if you do it on somebody else, a little different, but yeah, that's how it comes out. And if you stuck around for the whole video, I appreciate it. I hope you learned something. Comment, subscribe, share it, and keep watching. Thank you.